Today's model railroads aren't just two wires. Today I'm going to show you the electronics underneath my one. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back and welcome to episode 12 of my series on building a new model railroad. My name is Peter Borchards and I'm the builder and owner of BNSF Chicago Sub in N-Scale, which is my new model railroad that I'm building from the ground up. For those of you who subscribe, welcome back. For those of you who haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button down below and click that little bell icon to be notified of all my upcoming episodes. There's a lot coming up, so be sure to subscribe to not miss anything. So in today's episode, I'm going to show you the electronics underneath my model railroad. Now, in the past, with the DC layouts, you used to just have two wires. Very simple, positive, negative, coming from your controller, plugged into your layout, and that was it. That's all you needed. Obviously, nowadays, we've all got decoders for our switches. We've got block detection. We've got all these extra bits and pieces we've added to our layout. We've got signals as well. So for that, you're going to need some decent electronics underneath. So I'm going to show you what I've got underneath my yard. So bear in mind, this is just my one yard board. I'm going to show you electronics that are just underneath that one. And it might be scary to some, but over the time, I'm going to show you what each bit does. And it's quite simple once you get used to how it all works. And there's plenty of information out on the internet, on YouTube, and that's where I've learned a lot of my stuff is from YouTube and from colleagues who've got it as well. So let me show you what's underneath my railroad. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the underneath of the lower staging board and all the components. As you can see, there are quite a few of them over here. Some people say, sort of DCC is two wires. Well, this just proves that it's a little bit more than that. So it gets rid of that myth. So starting off on the east side, so this is where the helix is coming in from. The train's coming from the helix onto the east end of the board. So we'll start off over here. First up is the main power coming from the command station. And then this is the locator cable bringing in the command from the DCC system. So following on from this power coming in, that comes straight into a PSX2, which is a circuit breaker. Now this is a 2-output circuit breaker, so the whole idea of this is that it has one power cable that comes up to the metro yard, and you've got another one that comes into the freight yard. And the whole idea of this is that if there's a derailment on either yard, it doesn't shut down the entire layout or either yard. So if there's a derailment on here, it only affects the short on this one. The short only affects this. It doesn't affect that or the rest of the layout. So that's the whole great idea about these. It's always a good idea to break it down to power districts so you don't shut the whole layout down if there's derailment. So next up, we've got a DCC Concepts AD1HP, which is a single output accessory decoder. And this is powering a cobalt point motor. And next to it, we have a AD2FX, which is from the same company, DCC Concepts. And this is a 2-output accessory decoder, and it's powering these two cobalt point motors over here. The next up, we've got another power coming in, and this is for the accessory bus. Now this accessory bus, which runs along here, is for powering the accessory decoders. Now the whole idea is if you have a short, and say a train stalls over a point motor, or a point motor's caused it to short, if it's powered by the track bus, obviously you won't be able to change your point motor. But if your accessory decoders are powered by an accessory bus, which is this 12-volt line over here, you'll still be able to change the point motors, so they're completely independent of the track bus. Now next up is the first of the block detectors. This is a Digitrax BDL168 block detector, and it's a 16 block detector. So you'll see over here you have 16 outputs that go to 16 blocks, and that's the block detector itself. And this over here is an Aculite breakout board. Usually you'll have a tab that plugs into here and it'll have solder points on it. It's just a bit of a pain to have to solder each one, especially if you see the size of them. So the whole idea of the breakout board is it keeps it nice and tidy and simple to wire. So as I showed you here, so these are the outputs for the 16 blocks. Down here you have the power coming in for that detected rail. So it comes in over here, goes through the block detector, and then the power comes out for that rail there. Then over here you have a 12 volt power coming in. This is for powering the block detector itself. So that's what that is. And then moving on over here, you'll see I've got, these are SEEP solenoid motors. Now the whole reason I've gone for these is just because I had them spare. I had them lying around, and for the I don't need slow motion point motors for my yard, so I thought I might as well just use these. So I've got 8 of them, and those are all controlled by this over here. Let's bring this down. So this is a CML Products DAC20. It is an 8 output accessory decoder, and this can be this is a LocaNet device. You can see it's got the LocaNet cables coming into it there. So this can be configured to be either for slow motion, so tortoise, cobalt motors, or for solenoid. So I've configured this for the solenoid motors over here, and because of that, it needs extra power for the capacitors. That's powered by that over there. It brings in a 15 volt supply for the so it'll throw the solenoid motors, and then it's got its own power supply there as well, just to power the actual board itself. This over here is for the block detectors. That's a 12 volt that comes in. It feeds both the block detectors. So that is that section there. As you can see over here, that is the accessory bus. Accessory bus is down here. Sorry, the accessory bus is over here. This is the track bus for the freight yard, and up here you've got the track bus for the metro yard. And you can see the feed is coming down from it. So this is for the common rail, which is the blue one. That is for the common rail. And the other rails are fed by the BL168. So that's the common power going in, and that goes to the feeders on the common rail. And next up, we've got another block detector. So you'll see I've got a block detector for each yard. So this is for the freight yard. The other block detector is for the staging yard, for the metro yard. And the reason for that is because the power supplies are completely separate. They're electrically isolated from each other. It's easier to have 2 block detectors. So this one is fed from the one side of the PSX2. That's purely for the freight yard, and the other one is fed by the other side of the PSX2. And you'll see over here, the yellow feed is coming from the block detector for the metro yard, and these green feeders are for the common rail. You see it comes in from the blue line over there, which is the common power. And then this over here, you got the orange wires coming in from the block detector for the freight yard, and again the common rail is the blue. And it's better keeping it the color coding. It just makes it easier to troubleshoot, and it's just easier to maintain as well. It's easier to just check a color. So that gives you an overview of this board. This is pretty much finished and ready to put up on its brackets and just do final testing. And then I can start track laying on the second board. That hopefully won't take too long. I've only got one set of turnouts to do. Unlike this one, I had to have turnouts for the metro yard and the freight yard. The metro yard is stub-ended, so there are no turnouts on that end of it. It's just that the rest of the ladder I've got to do on the other side of the freight yard, so hopefully it won't take too long to do. I'm going to use tortoise motors for that. I haven't got any more of the SEEPs left, and I think I've only got a couple of the cobalts left as well, so I'll just use tortoise motors for that, and I've got another DAC20 specifically for that. I don't need any block detectors because that will just go straight through to the other side, so I don't need to have any more block detectors on that end. So that's it for now. I hope that's helped you understand. Obviously, if you've got any questions, just put comments in the comment section below if you've got any questions about any of the electronics on here. So there you have it. That's what powers my yard at the moment. You can see there's quite a lot of electronics underneath there, but it's all there for a reason. It can be quite daunting for those who are just getting into the hobby, but there's quite a lot of information out there, and there are plenty of people who are willing to help. If you have you got any questions about any of the electronics underneath the layouts I've got, whether it's a block detector or the point decoders or anything like that, please put put a comment down below, and I will try to answer as best I can. Also, if you've got any ideas of future videos on, if you want more information about each component under there, please let me know and I'll make sure to put something together for you. So the next video coming up is going to be a quick update on where I've got to at the moment. I haven't done much apart from putting some more track in, but I'll show you where I've got to, and I'll give you an update on what is coming up next with regards to the railroad build. For those who don't already subscribe, please click the subscribe button down below and click that little bell icon to be notified of all upcoming episodes. So thank you for watching and stay safe and see you soon.